Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, professional astrologer, psychic, and healer. In this episode, I'm going to tell you all about the Pisces New Moon on March 18, 2026, and what it means for your zodiac sign. So stay tuned. Welcome to the episode on the Pisces New Moon, which occurs on March 18th, 2026 at 9:23 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be in the last degree of Pisces. It's a very powerful time because this new moon will seed the final phase of the zodiac cycle before the sun enters Aries 2 days later on March 20th. And when we have the sun go into Aries on March 20th, it's also the day that Mercury goes direct, we're beginning the astrological new year. So the last new moon or the last lunation of the astrological year is representing a time of completion, spiritual purification, and getting ready to bring our next reality into being. Pisces in astrology is the 12th sign. So it's the final sign, and we are in a time of endings. It's associated with spirituality, intuition, psychic awareness. It can help us embody more compassion and empathy. Pisces relates to our dreams, whether they're our sleeping dreams and how alive they may be to us, or how precognitive or how revealing they are to us of our subconscious. And it's also connected to imagination. The 12th house is unfinished business. It's that liminal space between waking and sleeping reality. It's about the spiritual dimensions merging with the physical dimensions. It's always been an area of mysticism and transcendence. I describe the 12th house or Pisces energy to my clients as an area where we don't always have access to it in our waking mind. We best access it through trance states, such as sleep, or that time between sleeping and waking up. So the time in the morning before you're fully awake is very Piscean. And it's a very powerful time to seed what we want to bring in for the day. So think about that the next time when you're waking up, before just jumping out of bed. Use about 5 minutes to seed your morning, to seed your day, to seed your future. The other thing about Pisces, as a ruler of the 12th house, it is a time of endings and karmic release. So we can let go of the past, especially if we intend it. So at this Pisces new moon on March 18th, we're coming to a point when the sun and moon unite at the end of the last sign of the zodiac. So it's definitely time to come to a resolution, to clear the past, because we're going to be beginning a new emotional and energetic cycle when the sun goes into Aries 2 days later. And Mercury has been retrograde in Pisces this whole time. It's going to go direct on the 20th. Yes, it will be in Pisces, but we have a chance to surrender to what has run its course. It's also really good to get in touch with our emotions and receive divine guidance. If you still have something that's weighing heavily on you, especially if it involves other people or it's emotional in nature, this is a good time to practice forgiveness, forgiving the other, forgiving yourself for what maybe you haven't completed or done. Self-forgiveness is key. And cultivating compassion for yourself and others. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Or please forgive me because I didn't know the ramifications. So self-love goes along with that. And you can use this time to envision a new direction in your life, spiritually, materially, in all aspects of self. We have to remember with Pisces, It's an energy that dissolves boundaries between the worlds. That's not so good when it comes to human relationships or in our day to day practical, mundane life, because Pisces can have problems with transitioning, can put you into a trancy kind of state, and then you can't do what you need to do. I mean, sometimes we go into that trance when we're driving our car and we need to be focused. So sometimes it can be disorienting. And people are like, what? We go out of time. They can lose track of time. They can realize that an hour went by what felt like 5 minutes. And we can go into that trance when we're looking at TV or the computer. So it's very spacey. But the good thing about dissolving boundaries between worlds is that it's very mystical and we can have very strong intuitive hits. So pay attention to what comes through. It's going to be different than like your day-to-day thought process. It would just be something coming in and it makes you ponder and wonder, what is that? So let's talk about where this Pisces new moon is occurring on March 18th. It's the last degree of Pisces. So it's the last degree of the last sign of the Zodiac. This is a karmic completion point. It's what we call the anaretic degree, the last degree of any zodiac sign. And we've been having our new moons at the last degree of the zodiac signs for the last few months. So it's interesting because a new moon is traditionally a new beginning, but it occurring at the last degree of each sign for the last few months means that we have to actually focus on what hasn't been completed, what still needs to be done to close the loop, to close the circle, to bring things to resolution. So this new moon in Pisces is a big one on resolving the past, what needs to be ending, what needs to culminate. And Pisces in general would be karmic, clearing what we don't want to bring forth, dissolution of an old identity. I am no longer that. Release of the ego. Pisces doesn't like the ego. It likes the soul, connecting to the soul. You're going to rebirth on the 20th in the sign Aries, which is go time. And sometimes the Aries energy, being fire, is fast and furious. So you're not going to have the downtime to reflect, to resolve, to reinvent. So use the time leading up to March 20th to bring things to completion. And then we have how it affects the collective. It's quite clear that humanity is being asked to release illusions, old paradigms, old patriarchal paradigms, emotional baggage, and outdated narratives before stepping into a new cycle. So it affects us personally, but it also affects us collectively. So it's really important to look at the Sabian symbols. I use them in all my podcasts. They're the special archetypal descriptions of the 360 degrees of the zodiac that were channeled by Elsie Wheeler back in the early 20th century. And Dane Rudar has an interpretation, as does Mark Jones, and there's a lot of other ones out there these days, but I'm going to go to the classic Sabian symbol interpretation for 29 degrees Pisces, which is, quote, a woman rises out of the sea and a seal rises to embrace her. Whoa! So this is basically the last degree of the zodiac. So what does this evoke? This image evokes emergence from the unconscious, rebirth from primordial waters, which reconnects us with nature and instincts. Pisces is a feminine sign. The water signs are all feminine, as are the earth. So it's an awakening to divine feminine wisdom. The ocean represents collective consciousness and the primordial source of life. This is huge. So we're coming into an awareness. We're embracing divine feminine. We're embracing our intuition. If you know anything about the seal, especially in Irish mystical lore, the seal would be sometimes actually women who decided to take on the seal skins and be a selkie and be able to swim between the worlds of the conscious or unconscious. So look into Irish folklore and mythology for that interpretation of the selkie, being able to move between the worlds. This is a time when it's very important we do that, because what might be happening in the outer masculine driven realities may not be so soothing to our soul. So getting back to the primordial energies, the instinctive, the intuitive, and a woman emerging from the sea suggests a rebirth of consciousness, perhaps the awakening of humanity in general from the unconscious. People are waking up. Sacred feminine power is returning. The seal embracing the divine feminine or the woman, and symbolizes harmony between instinctual nature and human awareness. And as I like to say, the goddess is back. And as she goes into Aries, boy, is she pissed. So there's some symbolism here of humanity remembering its spiritual origin. And as it remembers that, it sees that all else is distracting. And maybe what's happening out there is a power grab, a control grab. But you know, your soul is immortal. It's beyond the facades of what's happening in the world. So we're all waking up to our soul and our soul inclinations. And that is freedom. And it's freedom from the powers that are trying to dictate on the planet right now. So this is a very powerful new moon. It's having us remember who we are, both personally and collectively. And there's a transit that happens at this new moon that will enhance this breakthrough. The planet Uranus in the late degree Taurus creates a sextile or a 60-degree aspect to this late degree Pisces new moon. And by a new moon, as you may know, the sun and moon are in the same degree. So this new moon forms a harmonious sextile to Uranus, the planet of awakening and breakthroughs. So it may bring sudden spiritual insights, quantum leaps in awareness. We can be liberated from our limiting beliefs. We can start embodying new visions for our future. And of course, it goes without saying, Pisces, the intuitive sign, can give us information that comes outside of our day-to-day consciousness or our mundane consciousness, but comes from a higher place and giving us creative inspiration. So when I come back, I'm going to talk about some of the themes of this new moon, so stay tuned. Hi there, this is Jill Jardine, host of Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, and I have some news for you. Some of you know that I have a book that's published called Sacred Sound Formulas to Awaken the Modern Mind, Sanskrit Mantras to Raise Your Vibration. Well, now I have the companion oracle cards for Sacred Sound Formulas to Raise Your Vibration. You're going to have a lot of fun with these. You pull a card, you get the mantra that will help you at whatever moment you pick the card, and so much more. So make sure you go online and order yours now, JillJardine.com. So now let me summarize. What are some of the themes of this Pisces new moon? Well, for those of you who want to release the past, we can see a dissolution of old timelines. What does that mean? It means that you can dissolve a karmic pattern or trajectory that you are on that you don't want. What needs to be released can go fast before we shift into Aries in late March. So you can let go of things like illusions, emotional baggage, and the karmic cycle, whether personally or in a relationship or the way that you relate to the world. And you can surrender control. There's a great song out there, I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. And I'm going to source that for you because that is a perfect song to listen to at this time. I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. And that is by Alexa Sunshine Rose in an album, Living Waters, which came out in 2012. Check it out. It's a good affirmation for the Pisces new moon. The other manifestation that could happen for people is that there's heightened psychic sensitivity because Pisces opens the veil between the world. So pay attention. And I'm talking not about just the date of the 18th. It's leading up, the whole week leading up to the new moon. So that would start about the 13th, Friday the 13th. A very good time to open up the veil and experience vivid dreams, intuitive messages, synchronicities. You might be more sensitive, so watch what you take into your body. And I'm talking not just food, but what you're watching on TV or on your computer. Take advantage of it by doing more meditation, journaling, and oracle cards. And I'm happy to announce that the oracle cards for Sacred Sound Formulas by Parashakti Jill Jardine are now available on Amazon and JillJardine.com. That's an oracle deck that I've created to go along with my book, Sacred Sound Formulas to Awaken the Modern Mind, Sanskrit Mantras to Raise Your Vibration. Very, very appropriate at the Pisces new moon. So it's basically a time of spiritual rebirth before the Aries season. So purify. There's a time of energetic alignment. This can be a very powerful time. And again, this lunation happens from the 13th leading up. The actual day is the 18th, but it's going to play out until April 1st, which is the Aries Libra full moon. So it's a couple weeks that you have to set your intentions for spiritual awakening, healing emotional wounds, any forgiveness that you need to extend to yourself or others, creative inspirations, surrendering control, and strengthening your intuition. Write down what you want to release and put the paper in water or burn it. This will clear any emotional karma. So collectively, what's going on here? This is a dissolving of old paradigms. Humanity might confront illusions in leadership, and not a moment too late. Misinformation can be revealed to be clarified and dissolved. And after a time of turmoil, there can be emotional healing. This is a cosmic reset before the Aries new cycle, which will be fast and furious. And so I shared that song that you can listen to, but there are other affirmations that you can say at this new moon. I release what no longer serves. I align with the wisdom of my soul. I align with the wisdom of the universe. I surrender to the divine. I am in alignment. I trust myself. I trust my life moving forward. All is well. All will be well. So we can all release into the cosmic ocean of consciousness and get ready for a new cycle. Enjoy this sacred pause for the last 2 weeks of March before we all rebirth ourselves. It's a time of spiritual renewal, karmic release, and intuitive awakening. So enjoy, relax, and release. Stay tuned to find out how the Pisces new moon affects your sun sign. Welcome back. Here's the part of the episode you've been waiting for. What does the Pisces new moon mean for each zodiac sign? Let's start with Aries. This new moon activates your 12th house of endings, healing, subconscious. So, guess who has to clear the most karmic baggage of any sun sign? You will, Aries, because you're going to get ready to launch when your birthday season shines in. And because it's the 12th house, your dreams may be very vivid, and you could be getting a lot of information from your soul, from your higher self, from your subconscious in dream time. So make sure you get a lot of sleep in the last 2 weeks of March, because you're going to need it. You're going to be high powered as we go into April. So take this time for meditation and rest. Let go of past narratives. Reflect, relax, release, retreat, so you can emerge renewed during your birthday season, and get ready for rebirth. So a lot of RE words for you: relax, rest, retreat, release, and rebirth, Aries. Taurus, this new moon illuminates your solar 11th house of community, visions, and future goals. So tune in and get inspiration about your life purpose. And look for those spiritually aligned friends and groups, because this is a time when you can internally be planning long-term goals to activate in April. Plan all aspects of your life. And really don't base your future on the past, because this is an opportunity for you to go into new territory and listen to your soul, Taurus. Gemini, this new moon activates your 10th house of career and public life in your solar chart. So you're really looking at, like, what's my purpose? What aligns with my soul? I want to do something a little bit more creative or spiritual. And don't forget, in late April, you're going to be lit up as Uranus begins its 7-year journey through your sun sign. So this is a very important time for you to revision your future, especially with career. What does success look like for you, Gemini? Start thinking about that. Yeah, it could be job, but it could be lifestyle as well. And because of that, you're really looking at aligning what you do for work with spiritual values. So listen, tune in, stop talking so much, and let's hear the messages that your soul wants to share, because it could be changing your vocational life and your purpose. Cancer, this is a very good one for you. It's harmonious. It's another water sign, so it's very mystical, and it lights up your 9th house of higher wisdom and spiritual exploration. You will feel like you are reborn. You're going to want to absorb anything that will help you know thyself, such as esoteric information, philosophy, of course, astrology. You're in a consciousness expanding mode, and that might include some travel, spiritual study, taking pilgrimages, going on retreat, because your belief systems are evolving. So just dive in and immerse, Cancer. Leo, the Pisces new moon activates your 8th house of the shadow, subconscious, transformation. Take a deep dive, Leo, because you can heal some root issues. Release old attachments and subconscious blocks. You're in a time of emotional rebirth. Release control. This is also very good for relationships. You might be more authentic. If there are blocks to intimacy, that will become very clear to you. And Leo, I know you don't like to give up control, but surrender at this point will bring renewal and rebirth. Virgo, This new moon falls in your seventh house of relationships. So every relationship is up for reassessment. You may end ones, you may have new beginnings. You're looking at relationship in terms of soul contracts. Why am I in relationship with you? What is my lesson? What do I need to give? What do I need to receive? So it's very important for healing relationships. You may look for people for different reasons. Maybe you need to align in a different way, but you also have to look at what's the karmic connection? Why are we hanging out? What's this all about? So you can really rebirth relationship. Libra, the Pisces new moon activates your sixth house in your solar chart, which is that of health, daily rituals, service, lifestyle. So you may need to really get clear about how to heal yourself and spruce up some healing routines, seek out new healers, definitely go for a holistic approach. You have to balance always, Libra. That's your whole keynote, balance, working, rest. You may need more sleep at this time too. So really find some rituals and practices that can transform your life. Scorpio. Whoa, this is a good one for you, fellow water sign Pisces new moon. It's going to energize your house of creativity, joy, romance. You feel very inspired. You want to express yourself creatively. Your heart is busting wide open. Pursue spiritual or creative projects. Let your heart lead. Let inspiration flow through you. This is a good one for you, Scorpio. You could ride this wave for a while. Sagittarius, the Pisces new moon is going to activate your fourth house of home, ancestry, and emotional foundations. So you really want to heal your home life. You want to make it more peaceful, more soothing, get some water elements in there, maybe even change the colors in your home so that you get the soothing vibe. There's a lot of emotional healing. There may be some shifts within the family. If you have been thinking about a renovation or relocation, this could really come to light in the next few months. And you're looking at making yourself secure in your home so that you can enhance your sense of inner peace. Capricorn, your third house in your solar chart of communication, learning, and mind is activated. So you can bridge your practical awareness with your intuition. It may inspire you so much that you want to write, teach, share, communicate, take a deeper dive into spiritual or metaphysical information, connect with siblings and neighbors. Look at how you're expressing yourself and keep your words powerful because they shape your reality. Aquarius, the Pisces new moon activates your second house of values and self-worth. Okay, here we go. You've been waiting to recalibrate your financial life. So this is the time you can. And because you're a big picture person, you need to have it align with what really is your value. How do your talents support your spiritual path? Manifest abundance aligned with purpose. Release scarcity beliefs that are popping to the surface. How do you limit yourself? How do you not cash in on your potential? Remember, your gifts are valuable and needed. And Pisces, this is your personal new moon. It's a reset. It's all about you. You can reinvent yourself and your life direction. So make sure that you use these 2 weeks to come into alignment, reinvent yourself, embrace your gifts, embrace your wisdom, align with your soul, recreate yourself, and step yourself out into your new reality, Pisces. This is your new moon, Pisces, so rock and roll, baby. I I hope you enjoyed this informative episode on the Pisces New Moon. Show your love and compassion by subscribing, sharing, downloading, and giving us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sending a mystical, pulsing Pisces New Moon vibrations into the quantum field.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.